some point in your life have arm wrestled at a kitchen table or a dining room table with some of your friends, it's a fun thing to do. Well, I'm a competitive arm wrestler, and I'd like to teach you a little bit more about how to arm wrestle more effectively and safely. So first of all, arm wrestling, so this is, by the way, for context, is a competitive arm wrestling table. But arm wrestling, most people think it's really just pushing to the side, just going to the pin pad. However, it's much more complex than this. When you push to the side like this, first of all, it creates a spiral pressure on your bones, which is much more dangerous. And also it's much less effective because you're using smaller muscles in your body. Rather, what you should be doing is pulling backwards, such as this, pulling toward yourself with the larger muscles of your back and biceps. And what this does is it brings your opponent closer to you. And when something's closer to you, you have more control and therefore more leverage and strength. And at that point, then you can move to the side using your body weight, but you're still pulling, but you're falling to the side. Now, most people think arm wrestling is all about arm strength, which yes, it is very important, but hand strength is something that a lot of people neglect. So the three fundamental movements are, an easy way to remember it is RCR, rise, cup, roll. And rise is basically lifting your knuckles up, it's a radial deviation. Cupping is wrist flexion, or just being able to bend your wrist. And rolling is pronation, or bringing the back of your hand, so turning your hand so you can see the back of your hand and your thumb twists toward the midpoint of your body. Now, rising is important in an arm wrestling match because you really want to be able to gain height. Height is everything. It gives you more leverage, so you want to get even just a few millimeters higher than your opponent. As you can see in this match, the guy in the yellow shirt has lost his riser because his hand has dropped. When you gain the riser, you have more control over the match. Next is cupping, or being able to bend your wrists. This is important because it kind of goes back to what I was saying originally. It allows you to bring the match closer to you and have more control. It's really, when something's close to your body, you can control it and you have more strength. In this example here, both people have their wrist bent. And finally, rolling, or pronation, being able to see the back of your hand. When you twist your hand like that, you are attacking the fingers of the other person and attacking their cupping strength, which is what we just talked about. And so this bends the wrist back, which significantly decreases the amount of strength that they have. Now, a video here, this is actually of myself, but it's just an example here of a video. So as you can see, putting it all together, I'm pulling back. You can see my elbow moves toward the back of the pad, and then I'm using my body weight to fall, while also using the three fundamental hand strengths of rising, cupping, and rolling to take away the hand of my opponent. Now, probably the most important part is safety. One of the most common injuries is an arm break, which happens now this guy has not broken his arm, but he is in a very dangerous position. It happens when your arm comes outside of your body and your shoulder externally rotates, putting a spiral pressure on the humerus bone or the upper arm, causing it to snap. There are a few ways to prevent this. Now, first of all, as I mentioned in the beginning, you don't want to push sideways. It's not effective, but also creates this spiral pressure. You really want to pull backward. Second, you want to move your body with your arm as one continuous unit. You want to make sure your hand is inside your shoulder, and you're winning with your body and losing with your body. So you're not separating, say, looking away from your arm. And then the final trick, just kind of a little way to make sure this all happens, is to look at your hand. Always stare at your hand, because your body goes where your eyes go. So always stare at your hand, and this will keep you safe. Well, I hope you've all learned something about arm wrestling today. Maybe beat a few more of your friends, do it safely, and good luck.